Welcome to Lotus Me Bloom podcast. This is your host, Madison Ansel. It's been a minute since I recorded a podcast. The intro was recorded in September, so I'm sure the timeline won't really make sense if you're listening to it. I think I talked about my birthday being right around the corner, and it's now March. I really put it on the back burner for a while because almost immediately after I got COVID, and so I was down and out, and then I got really indecisive with the podcast cover, which I still don't think I've quite decided on them. I'm just like mass recording a bunch of podcasts, but I have them narrowed down. You know, I am a Libra, and they tend to be pretty indecisive, but that's really just my excuse. I want to talk about today in this podcast burnout and listening to your body and taking a break when it's necessary. And I don't want to have this super structured, so I apologize in advance if I just kind of go everywhere. But that's what I want with this podcast. I want it to be super chill and laid back, and I think one of the reasons that I've been putting it off is I want to do a video podcast as well, which I am recording this as well on my camera. And the YouTube channel will be Lotus Me Bloom. But it's like another excuse of, oh, well, I can't record today. I don't feel like putting makeup on, or I don't want to look presentable. And, oh, that's more work. It's crappy outside. Like, I need good lighting to record. So we'll see. I'm still going to do it. I'm just trying to get over the fact that, I tend to suffer with perfectionism. I think I mentioned that in the first intro, and I don't want to keep saying that because I don't want to keep identifying with it, but it is something that I've been actively working on the last month or so, trying to just get over. So if I look awful in a podcast video, just know that I'm just trying to get over trying to look perfect, trying to look good, put together. I do today because I actually had to take a headshot for my mastery program that I completed. I think I talked about it in the intro. I was doing a 9-month apprenticeship to learn how to clairvoyantly heal and read others, and I graduated in January. You can book with me through her website, so she just has all the graduates on there, and I still haven't taken a photo, so I made sure I looked presentable today and got that photo taken. But yeah, so I want to get over feeling like I have to look good to do a podcast. If it really, really stands in my way, maybe I will just have the YouTube and have the audio and maybe just like a picture instead of me actually talking. But I feel like it's a little bit more personal when you see me and you get to connect with me a little bit more. So if you're interested in that, I do have that. But yeah, so I want to talk about burnout because I feel like society is always, go, go, go. You got to get stuff done. And like, I even feel with a lot of courses and motivational speakers, they're very much like, you gotta have a routine. You gotta do this, and you gotta post 4 times a day, and you have to do all this stuff. And I feel like that's a very masculine way of approaching things, which is like, yeah, a lot of those things are valid. And if you are trying to grow your business or, your social medias, yeah, a lot of that stuff is essential. But at the same time, you need to balance it with the feminine. And I was just listening to a podcast about, masculine and feminine and business and spirituality and all that stuff. The feminine is receiving, it's creating, it's integration, and it's just not reasonable. If what I just said to you doesn't make sense, just take out the labels, and what you're left with is just like, it's not reasonable. Like, you can't just keep going. And this goes for everyone. There are some people that are better at really multitasking and getting shit done. I always think of like Capricorns because I feel like Capricorns are they're very structured. My brother's a Capricorn, and he really just like is very routine, and I always admired that about him because I'm so not. I'm an air sign. I also have Earth for my moon and rising, but I can't. If you have ever heard about human design, which I think I'm going to make a whole podcast about, it's kind of like astrology in a way. There's like 4 or 5 human design types. Quickly, I will list them off. There's generators, manifesting generators, there's manifestors, there's projectors, and there's reflectors. So there's 5. I'm a projector, which I will make a whole podcast about. It is, I think 30 to 40% of the population is a projector, and majority of the population are generators. And just very quickly, generators are the type that they can keep going. They have this energy center inside their body that allows them to work, and, get shit done. And not that projectors can't, but we don't have that energy center. And projectors are people that 9 to 5 just really isn't compatible with them. And not saying that you can't work a 9 to 5, but projectors need a lot of integration and rest. Rest is huge. And I learned about this maybe a year or 2 ago, and it's really changed my perspective on, because I always try to force myself to be this person. I think many of us do, regardless of what your human design is. We force ourselves to be, like what society wants us to be, these working workaholics. And it's just not possible for some people. It's not honestly possible for anyone to just keep working. I don't think it's normal. I mean, I don't think anyone should just work. But like I said, there are some people that they can do that and they don't feel as drained. For example, my yoga teacher, she is a manifesting generator, and she can just go. I mean, she has so much. She does yoga all day, every day. If I balance too many things at once, I am drained. I am exhausted. I literally can't do it. And I've tried to do it my whole life. I even think back to like high school. I used to do so much shit for no fucking reason. I used to do literally everything and anything. Like, I always pushed myself. I always put too much stuff on my plate, and I just burnt myself out. You burn the candle on both ends. And for some people, they can do that, and I did it. But now it's just like I try to honor myself and just realize that I'm not made to do all of these things at once. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of different things I do. Like, I run a business. I do YouTube, podcast. I act. So I do acting classes and stuff like that. And I physically, and mentally cannot focus on multiple things at once. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean I work on YouTube for like a month and then, I peace out. But sometimes it is kind of like that for me. And I've really been noticing and trying to tap more into my body and what it needs within the last few months, just because I'm like, okay, well, where do I want to go next? And a huge thing that I was told was to follow my yes, because for me personally, I know that my life is never going to be just a one-path road. I think even society really tries to tell us, like, oh, you need to go to school and, then get a job, and that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life. That's not me. I always knew that. But then I had confirmation and a reading before that, that is just, I tried to do that, and it just brought me a lot of unhappiness because I tried to fit in this container that I wasn't meant to fit in. So for me, I do jump around. I will focus on my business. I'm always focusing on my business, but there's times when my heart's really in making candles, and then it's like, no, I don't want to do this right now at all. I want to go do my acting stuff. And for me, that was really hard to do, because I felt like, oh, I look flaky. Oh, I look like I'm not stable. Like, how is this going to bring me income if I keep jumping around? But for me, I'm going to make the most income. I'm going to be the most successful following my yes, following my heart, and following what lights me up in that moment. Now, not everyone is, like this, but I think many people are. They just find out way later in life that it's kind of like regret, They're like, oh, why did I spend my life working at this restaurant when I really wanted to go do this and try that? And, they find out later that, life and society makes us feel a certain way, even, programming from family, just being around people and hearing, growing up, just what you can and can't do. And there's so much stuff that goes into it. So really, I just want to encourage anyone that's listening is to listen to your body. For me, I think this is my biggest, aha of okay, you need to chill out. You need to stop doing so much, because, well, one, mentally, I just can't do it. I get overwhelmed, might have a mental breakdown. But I think a huge tool for anyone that's I don't even know how to figure that out. For me, it's when my body is screaming no, but I'm saying yes. So, for example, I've been doing courses for a year straight. I think this time last year, around March or April, I did a prerequisite course to start this apprenticeship. And then during that course, I also took another course for manifestation. And really, it was a course full of shadow work and just healing from the past and looking at your limiting beliefs and all of that stuff. So I was doing shadow work hardcore for a year straight. My manifestation course bled into my apprenticeship, which my apprenticeship was all about learning how to read and heal people, but that required us to really heal ourselves. And lots of pain came up for us as well through the whole process. Lots of invalidation. So literally, I graduated in January, and then I did another course that was actually supposed to be another prerequisite for the apprenticeship, but she changed it after we graduated, because we were the first class per se. And I was like, well, I need to take this course, because she's told me some things in that course that would really help me. So after that, I just finished, literally last week, I think was my last class, another course that kind of lit me up and got me triggered a little bit. And there's still stuff I haven't gotten done in it, because I couldn't physically sit down and do it. And then also mentally, I was like, I can't right now. I just need more time. And I think that's okay. Even with the manifestation course, I kind of got to this point where I'm like, oh, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done, instead of really, I think my issue with a lot of things is I do something and then I don't allow myself to integrate it. I don't put what I learned to practice, because I'm on to the next. And I've gotten to this huge realization that's I can't keep doing and doing and doing and expecting to receive. This whole year really is about me stepping into my feminine and really holding space and receiving everything that I deserve because I have put in the work. And I think that my mind likes to trick me and say like, oh no, like you still have so much work to do. Like, no, you got to keep diving deep. You got to keep, clearing this limiting belief stuff. But truly, like, that's a limiting belief in itself, is to think that I still need to do. And so I'm trying to really relax and play more this year, which is a huge theme in itself for me, is play. That came up on almost every single reading of mine last year, that I needed to play and have more fun. And that's something I'm going to start working on soon, is just the polarity between work and play in my space, because I feel like I can't have both. And my teacher really pointed that out to me. And it makes a whole lot of sense, because I really don't. I don't think that I can have fun and also work. I always feel like I have to choose. So, yeah, I'm trying to work on being more in my feminine. And I told myself this year that I would not do a bunch of courses, because truly I'm burnt out. Like, I don't want to do any more inner work. I'm over it. I'm over the inner work. Like, I've done enough, literally for a year straight. So, there were opportunities like just this week. A lot of the girls that I took my apprenticeship with, they're like, oh, we're retaking the first class again. And really, I probably should, because it would probably help me with a lot of my own invalidation that's coming up, because I still haven't said publicly, hey guys, I have readings and healings available for purchase, book with me. Just because truly what I'm getting at is that right now it's not really lighting me up anymore. And I was like, man, I probably should take the course again. But even though logically I'm like, yeah, you should, my whole body, like, I don't know how to explain it, but your body will tell you, like, no, you can't do this. Like, you just feel tired when you say it. So for me to really tap in, and if you have like a pendulum or something like that, I do have a video on YouTube on Madison Ansel page that shows you how to use a pendulum, but just be careful, make sure you're doing it in the right space. But the pendulum kind of shows you like really what you truly want inside. I didn't really want to go on a trip, and but like FOMO, I had so much FOMO about it, and I used the pendulum, and the pendulum kept saying no. Like, I was like, should I go to this trip? No. It's really just showing you like what you already like deeply know and what you want to do. It's like your true self, kind of. So hopefully I can explain this. When you feel just like you're being tugged instead of like willingly wanting to do something, if it's not lighting you up with excitement and it's more like, okay, all right, I'll do it. Like, that's your huge sign that you need to just like take a break. You can come back to it. And I think for me, it's like I always feel like there's this time limit on stuff. Like, I really want to become certified in human design. But one, I just don't want to invest the money into it right now. And two, it's just like I can't take on another course. And the manifestation course is coming back up again, which it's lifetime access. I can take it whenever I want, but I was going to try to take it with everyone live again. And that starts like this week or next week. And I really want to do it, but I'm trying to honor my body and just be like, no, I can do it again in the fall if I want to do it live with everyone. I need a break. I need a break. I need to integrate. And this is also a huge thing that I really want to get across to everyone, is that if you're into manifestation and law of attraction, which I'm going to have a podcast all about as well, you can't literally receive if you are doing. Like, it's kind of like in the same aspect of letting go. Like, you can't receive what you want if you haven't let go. If you're still, in the driver's seat, controlling everything, like, how is God, spirit, universe supposed to guide you when you keep taking lefts when spirit's trying to tell you to take a right? And I that might not make any sense to you, but it goes along with the letting go process, because that's really what the feminine is as well, is you're letting go, you're surrendering. Surrender is huge. And if you keep feeling like, here's the thing. The inner work, and really the work in itself, is going to always be there. There's never a point in life where you're like, yep, I'm healed. There's nothing else for me to do. I am perfect. All of my triggers are gone. I am good. Because it doesn't matter. You can get to the highest level of success. You could become a multimillionaire. It does not matter. There's still going to be triggers there. There's still going to be insecurities. There's still going to be stuff that comes up that needs to be dealt with. So, what I'm really trying to remember is just what I just said, is that it's a forever process, and to be happy right now and to not feel like I have to keep going and then I have to keep doing and doing, because it all will come exactly when it needs to. And I was listening back to a reading I had in January of last year, and she said something about, for me, it's like I want to master something, and I think most people do. That's like why we keep focusing on one thing. But for me, it's like I'll go focus on something else, and I'll come back to what I was doing later on. And then it's like this integration process for me. It's like I need the space to integrate. And so it was really hard for me to like get in that space of like, okay, I'm just gonna follow what lights me up right now and just abandon whatever I thought I was doing. I've come to this mindset that it doesn't have to be like I'm just done with it. For me, it's more like, okay, I can't keep fueling this if I'm not feeling it. For example, Lotus Me Bloom is actually my business name, and I sell crystals and I make intention setting candles. Well, the candles, I started to make seasonal ones, and I tried to make them as intentional as possible, but my heart was not in it anymore because I didn't want to keep making seasonal candles. I wanted to make candles that were chakra candles is the correct term. I didn't want to keep making the seasonal candles anymore because I had started my business making chakra candles. And I'm working on them right now. But, a year or so went by and I'm like, wow, I haven't even made these chakra candles or chakras, I'm sure sounds a little bit more familiar to most people, but it is pronounced chakras. But I realized like I kept putting off what I wanted to do because I felt like I had to please other people because, fall would come around or Christmas, and I felt like I had to make candles for that. And my sales reflected how I felt. I didn't sell a lot of my fall candles or my Christmas candles. So that's just an example of when you are forcing yourself to do something that doesn't light you up, doesn't fuel you anymore, it will reflect. So if you are just running, your battery dead and you're running, burning the candle on both ends, it's going to reflect in your life. So as much as like we want to get to that finish line and we really want to do all the inner work and we want to feel like completely perfect. And I think for me, it's a lot of the perfectionism stuff too, is like, oh, I got to keep doing work. I got to keep doing this. And just getting to the point of I don't need to. And I can do what lights me up and not feel guilty about not doing something anymore. Like after Christmas, I didn't touch candles up until a couple weeks ago. I just truly had no desire. I got to the point where I'm like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. And it's not that I was going to quit doing it because I knew that's not an option for me. I'm always going to do it. But when I got to that point, I'm like, you know what? That's okay. Okay? I'm going to focus on other things right now. So right around when I recorded the intro for my podcast, I started really focusing on Reiki. I was really focusing all of the end of last year on, getting clientele and focusing on my business and doing bazaars and telling people what Reiki is. And now I'm kind of to this point where I'm like a little over Reiki. I love Reiki. It's what I do. And I love helping people. But there are times where I'm like, man, maybe I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Here's my issue is that I don't want to be one thing. And that's like my huge thing that I'm trying to like get over. Like I said in the beginning of this podcast, is that, society tries to tell us like we have to pick a job that's stable and do it for the rest of our lives. And that's just not who I am. And even with growing a business, like my personal Madison Ansel YouTube is not one thing. It's lifestyle, it's spirituality, it's self-development. And I have started to mix it all together because for a while I felt like, marketing wise, you need to niche down, you need to get really specific and have a theme. That's not who I am. Yes, I love the spiritual stuff. I love helping other people and getting them to wake up and step into their power. But I also love acting. I love music. I have always had a passion for that stuff, and I just never felt like it was possible for me. So I feel like with all this inner work that I've done and I've really stepped into my power, I think that was necessary, all the spiritual work I had to do. But now I'm like, you know what? I did acting last summer at the end, like July and a little bit of August. I really went in on my acting stuff. I was doing classes. I took a class with Dean Frank, who's a casting director. And then I took a huge break and I started focusing on my business. And now I'm like, okay, I'm back. I want to do the acting stuff again. And that's where I'm focusing on, because I know if I never do the acting stuff and I completely cut it out, like I will be miserable with my life. It is something I always have put off, and it's something that is a part of me and it's a passion of mine, and I know is a mission of mine, which I'm going to do a whole podcast on, missions and purpose in life, but I know that it is part of my mission, and I'm already living part of my mission with the whole Reiki stuff and helping and healing other people. And it is nice, I had a Reiki client last week and she told me, she was just in tears and she's like, this is just what you're supposed to be doing and just thank you so much. And it really hit me that I'm like, yeah, like I needed that, because for a while, I felt like I had to choose. I had to choose acting. I had to choose Reiki. I had to choose the spiritual stuff, and I don't. I know, like, Reiki, even though it's not really lighting me up right now, it's not, like, really fueling me, that it's okay, that I'm not just supposed to be spiritual, but I have the gift. I have what helps other people. And for me, like, I just really need to hear that because I doubted myself. I'm like, man, did I just take a 9-month apprenticeship for no reason? Like, I really am just like not going to promote that I can do clairvoyant healings on people. And I kind of do that with Reiki as well. It's hard to feel like we can take a break and come back to things because of society. And I'm taking a break and I'm allowing myself to let that be okay. You know, it doesn't have to be one thing all the time. And I'm allowing myself to be like, you know what? Yeah, I need to integrate everything I just did for 9 months. It's okay. Integration is like key. Maybe I'll do a whole podcast on that too, but I know I keep saying like, oh, I'm going to do a podcast on this. And I'm sorry, I keep saying, oh man, it's something I need to get over and saying like. I say like a lot. Michael, my boyfriend, points it out all the time. So getting back to really what I was saying is that integration is huge. And how to relate this into your own life, that maybe you aren't real spiritual or maybe you don't do any inner work. It's just whatever you feel is just taking too much of your energy and you need to take a break from it, that's okay to do. Integration, you know, let's integrate what we just did, you know. Okay, for an example, say you just left a job that you worked for 9 years and you want to start a new job that really lights you up and it really like gets you going and it makes you happy. Well, maybe you don't want to start that job right away. Like maybe you're like, you know what, I want to take like a month or two off and just live off some of this money I saved up from my last job. But, oh, society says I can't do that, you know, like it makes me look like, oh, I'm not working and, you know, the self-worth stuff. Well, I think it's totally okay. You should take a break and integrate that you just took a huge step. Like you just closed a huge chapter in your life from going from a job that you worked for 9 years, and now you're going to close that chapter and you're going to take all those lessons you learned through the 9 years of working at that job and just integrating it and sitting with it and really embodying who you are now. So that's kind of the example of what integration is. It's just taking everything that you've learned and really embodying it and letting it sit. Letting it sit. That's a good one. Letting it sit with you. When we're rushing and we're trying to get somewhere and we're throwing everything in this bag and, you know, you're running out the door. No, you're sitting with it. You're allowing yourself to do nothing if that's what it is. So I know that this podcast has been a little bit everywhere, but the main message here is just society is always telling us do, and it's okay to just do nothing and figure it out. For those who are struggling if they want to go to college after high school, it's okay to take a year off. It's okay to take 2 years off. It's okay not to go at all. I think what to take away from this also is that, you know, society is always trying to get us to live a certain way. Like in high school, like I said, I used to pile my plate so high with all the stuff, and truly it was to look good for college, which is so stupid in the first place. But I wasn't doing a whole lot of stuff that I wanted to do, which is kind of a whole topic in itself. But, you know, I loved theater, but instead I did track, and I really didn't like track at all. Like, I liked it because I'm competitive and, like, I pushed myself to do something, but, like, it's not what I wanted to do. I would have rather done acting. It would have lit me up so much and brought so much happiness into my life. And just the main message is what I'm trying to get here is, like, we do a lot of things to make us look good or to have validation from outside people, even our parents. We want to do things so they feel like we're successful, whatever the case is. You have to just keep following your heart and listen to your body. And even though everything I did last year, all the courses, that's truly what I wanted to do. It is. It was something I felt really called to do, but I was burning my candle on both ends. And as much as I want to keep doing a lot of things, because there's things I want to do. I mean, like I said, there's courses I want to take still. I can feel my body just being like, please, no, don't. Like, you need a break. You need to, because I was so looking forward to like my apprenticeship ending and just like focusing on YouTube again, focusing on my podcast, and those things do take away from things I want to do. And as much as I love those things, right now it's just like, it's not what I need to do. It's not where I need to focus my energy on. And I can feel it. My body is just like telling me, no. I can just feel it like mentally. If I take on one more thing, it just feels heavy. If that's something you struggle with identifying in yourself, of how do I know that I don't want to do something? Because some people just like aren't tapped in and aren't aware of stuff like that. When you say it, you feel not lit up. So I just want to clarify something really quick. I've been talking about this podcast, doing what lights me up. And most people already know what that means, but it's like, it's just doing what makes you happy. It's doing what your attention wants to go to. It's like where your focus is going towards. It's like kind of when you see a salad and an ice cream. If that ice cream's really lighting you up, like you want that ice cream, that's what's like really bringing your eyes and your attention to, that's lighting you up. Now, I also talk about being lit up, and being lit up is more triggers. It's more what you're lit up about, like in a bad way, kind of. I don't like to say bad or good, but being lit up is more of like being triggered. Like, oh, I'm super triggered right now. All of this talk about finances really lit me up. So I just want to make the distinction there so you guys know for future podcasts, but you kind of know just by the context of like what I'm talking about. But yeah, so following what lights you up is where you're really going to have your answers. And what I want to get across is what lights you up right now could be nothing at all but drawing or watching a Netflix movie. Like, that is okay. You need to follow what you need in this moment and what your heart and your body needs and your spirit needs, and you will know, because like I said, you'll feel it. The last thing I want to say is that, again, if you're trying to manifest things, you will never have them if you don't slow down and take a break to receive them. If you're just doing, and ignoring truly what your body wants and what your spirit is trying to communicate with you, is to take a break and to relax. Sometimes that, like, your body really telling you to do that is a huge sign that, like, hey, your manifestation's on its way. It's just like, you're not home, so where are we supposed to deliver this to? So it's just really important to listen to what our body needs and take a break when it's necessary, and to not burn ourselves out. Take the time that we need. So hopefully you guys got something out of this podcast. I really want it to be laid back, guys. I really don't want to structure everything out. I did the last podcast I did, I hit maiden points, but I'm really just flowing here. I just want to talk, and if someone enjoys it, cool. But yeah, I hope you guys all have a great day, and I have lots of podcasts coming out, I promise. I'm going to try to do weekly, Maybe to start, I might have 2 a week. We'll see. But all my socials are at Madison Ansel, MadySonAncell. And Lotus Me Bloom actually has a website. I have an Instagram, I have a Facebook. But I will let you guys go. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next podcast. Bye.